Imagine this for a moment. You wake up tomorrow and your emotions are still there. Sadness, anger, fear, joy. Nothing disappears, but something has changed. They no longer drag you around like a storm. They arise. You notice them. You understand them. You choose how to respond. No more being hijacked by moods. No more saying, "I don't know what came over me." You still feel everything, but you are not controlled by anything. That's emotional mastery, not a perfect, calm life, not a life without pain, but a life where you are no longer a prisoner of your reactions. And the surprising part, you don't need a new personality. You don't need to run away to the mountains. You don't have to become more spiritual or pretend to be peaceful. You only need to understand a few quiet truths that Buddhism has been whispering for over 500 years. Truths that are not just for monks, they're for you, for your relationships, for your late-night overthinking. At first you think, "I am terrible at this," but you're not failing. This is the practice. Each return is like lifting a weight at the emotional gym. You are building the muscle of coming back, the muscle of not being pulled into every story. Over time, your mind learns a new habit: to watch, to allow, to stay. That is equanimity growing quietly in you. But there's still something that keeps us trapped. Something Buddhism points to very clearly: attachment. Attachment is not love. Attachment is not care. Attachment is the belief that I must have this to be okay. If I lose this, I am nothing. This emotion must stay. That emotion must go. We cling to people, to identities, to beliefs, to the idea of who we are, to the idea of how life should be. And when reality moves, because it always does, we suffer. We're not just sad when a relationship ends. We're shattered because we believed I needed this to be happy. We're not just disappointed when a plan fails. We're devastated because we believed this success would finally prove my worth. Buddhism doesn't ask you to stop loving. It doesn't ask you to throw away your dreams. It invites you to hold everything more lightly, to love without trying to own, to care without demanding guarantees, to dream without tying your entire worth to the outcome. Non-attachment is not indifference, it's a free heart. Instead of gripping life with clenched fists, you open your hands. You still hold, but gently. You let people be who they are. You let emotions pass through you. You let change come and go. And in that looseness, something unexpected appears: peace. There is another ingredient, though, that changes everything: compassion. Without compassion, mindfulness can become cold. You might watch your feelings and silently judge yourself. Why am I still like this? Why can't I get over it? Why am I so weak? This inner voice can be harsher than anyone outside. Buddhist teachings invite you to do something radical. Treat yourself as you would treat a dear friend. Imagine someone you love comes to you. Their eyes are tired. Their heart is heavy. They say, "I feel like a failure." Would you tell them, "Yes, you are. Get over it"? Of course not. You'd sit beside them. You'd listen. You'd say, "It's okay to feel this. I'm here." Why is it so hard to offer that same kindness to yourself? Self-compassion is not self-pity. It's not making excuses. It's seeing clearly and holding yourself gently at the same time. You can say, "Yes, I made a mistake," and "Yes, I'm still worthy of love." "Yes, I feel jealous," and "Yes, this is part of being human." "Yes, I'm struggling," and "Yes, I can learn and grow." In Buddhism, there's a practice called loving kindness. You silently repeat phrases of goodwill. You begin with yourself. "May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering." Then you extend it outward, to someone you love, to a neutral person, to someone you dislike, to all beings. At first it may feel artificial, but slowly it warms your heart. Compassion softens the hard edges inside you, makes your emotional world less tight, less cold. When life hits hard, compassion is the hand you place on your own heart, the whisper, "It's okay. You're not alone in this." That is not weakness. That is emotional resilience. Of course, the path is not smooth. You will stumble. You will forget. You will react in ways you regret. You may meditate one day and feel peaceful. The next day, you snap at someone you love. You might think, "This isn't working. I'll never change." But in Buddhist wisdom, obstacles are not proof of failure. They are part of the training. Self-judgment will arise. You might catch yourself comparing your growth to others. You might feel stuck in old patterns. This is where the practice becomes real. Instead of turning your frustration against yourself, you notice it as another emotion. Judgment is here. Shame is here. Resistance is here. You breathe into it. You make space for it. You ask gently, "What is this feeling trying to protect? What is it afraid of?" Often beneath our harshest patterns lies fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being abandoned. Fear of failing. When you bring mindfulness and compassion even to these fears, they slowly loosen. They are not monsters. They are wounded guards trying to keep you safe. Change is uncomfortable. The ego prefers the pain it knows to the unknown it doesn't. But each time you stay present with discomfort, each time you choose not to run, you strengthen a different part of you. The part that can say, "Yes, this is hard, and I will keep going." That keep going is what transforms you. Not perfection, not purity, persistence. Now here's a twist you may not expect. Negative emotions are not obstacles on the path. They are part of the path. Your anger can reveal where your boundaries are being crossed. Your sadness can show you what your heart values. Your fear can point to places where healing is needed. Buddhism doesn't say, "Be positive all the time." It says, "Be honest. Be awake. Be kind." When a painful emotion arises, you can ask 3 questions. What is this feeling? Where do I feel it in my body? What might it be trying to tell me? You are not obeying the emotion. You are listening to it. Maybe your bitterness is showing you where you're still holding on to an old story. Maybe your anxiety is revealing how tightly you cling to control. Maybe your loneliness is inviting you to open to deeper connection. When you relate to your emotions this way, they stop being enemies and start becoming teachers. They push you to grow, to question your beliefs, to soften your judgments, to open your heart. Pain is not proof that you are failing. Pain is proof that you are alive. And if you meet it with wisdom and compassion, it can become the fire that forges you, not the weight that breaks you. There is another quiet support on this journey that Buddhism emphasizes: community. Trying to master your emotions completely alone is like trying to learn to swim in a desert. You need water. You need others. In Buddhist tradition, this community is called the Sangha, a group of people walking the path together. You may not have a temple nearby. You may not sit in a formal meditation hall. But every person in your life who encourages your growth, who listens without judgment, who reminds you of your values when you forget, is part of your spiritual community. We are not meant to carry everything alone. When you share honestly with someone safe, "I'm struggling with anger. I'm drowning in sadness. I feel lost," you break the illusion that you are the only one. Others have felt this. Others are feeling it now. Others are learning to walk with it. That sense of "I'm not the only one" is medicine for that tightness in your chest when life hits hard. Stay with this video until the end, because once you see emotions through this lens, you won't be able to look at your anger, your sadness, or your fear in the same way again. You will start to see they were never the enemy. The problem was how you held them. Let's walk through this slowly, step by step, breath by breath. First, take one slow inhale, hold, and exhale. Good. Now, let's begin. And when you listen to someone else with an open heart, you also grow. Their pain reminds you to be humble, kind, and gentle. Their courage inspires your own. Together you hold each other up. Together you remember what matters. So how do you bring all of this into your ordinary day, not just when you're watching a video like this, not just when you have a calm moment, but in the middle of work, in traffic, while washing dishes, while scrolling your phone? Here are simple ways to weave mindfulness into your daily life. When you drink water, feel the coolness in your mouth. Notice the swallow. Just for 3 seconds, be fully there. When you walk, feel your feet touching the ground. Left, right, left, right. When you open your phone, take one conscious breath before you unlock it. Ask yourself, why am I opening this? When a difficult message arrives, pause. Notice your body. Notice your breath. Then respond. These small acts won't make your life look different from the outside, but inside you will notice more space, more choice. You are training your mind to live here, not lost in the past, not trapped in imagined futures. This presence slowly rewires your relationship with your emotions, because emotions live in the present. If you are here, you can meet them. If you are lost in your head, they control you from the shadows. At the heart of all of this lies wisdom. Not book knowledge, not quotes on a pretty background, but a deep seeing into three simple truths. Everything changes. Everything is connected. Clinging creates suffering. When you see that everything changes, you don't panic when emotions shift. You ride them. When you see that everything is connected, you realize your actions, words, and emotional states affect others. You become more careful, more compassionate. When you see that clinging creates suffering, you start to release the tight grip on how life must look. You open to what life actually is. This wisdom doesn't appear all at once. It comes through practice, through reflection, through falling down and getting up again and again. But slowly, something beautiful happens. You realize you are not as fragile as you thought. You realize you can feel hard things without breaking. You realize peace was never somewhere else. It was waiting underneath the noise. So as we come to this moment in the video, take a breath and look at your own life. What emotion has been visiting you often lately? Anger, fear, loneliness, numbness. Can you imagine meeting that emotion the way a wise old monk would? Not with panic, not with disgust, but with curiosity and kindness. Ah, you again. Come, sit here. Let's see what you're showing me. You are not asked to like the feeling, only to stop running from it. Because when you stop running, you stop being chased. Your journey toward emotional mastery will not be straight. You'll have days of clarity. You'll have days of confusion. But every time you breathe and return, every time you choose awareness instead of autopilot, every time you offer kindness instead of cruelty to yourself, you are walking the path. A path Buddhists have walked for centuries. A path that is now open in front of you, right where you sit. You don't have to become a monk. You don't have to change your religion. You don't have to pretend to be calm. You only need to begin with one breath, one moment of noticing, one decision. I will no longer let my emotions drive blindly. I will learn to sit in the driver's seat of my own mind. If this journey speaks to you, don't let it end when this video ends. Take what you heard and test it in your real life. Try one pause in a difficult conversation. Try one gentle breath when anxiety rises. Try one kind phrase to yourself when you feel like a failure. And if you want to keep walking this path together, you know what to do. Support this space. Subscribe. Share it with someone who is struggling silently, not for numbers, but to build a quiet community of people learning to feel deeply without being destroyed by what they feel. This video is just one step. In the next one, we'll go deeper into how to work with one specific emotion that steals peace from millions of people every day. and how Buddhist wisdom suggests we transform it from an enemy into a guide. Until then, stay close to your breath. Stay gentle with your heart. And remember, you are not your storms. You are the sky that holds them. Emotions feel so solid, don't they? I am angry. I am broken. I am anxious. We talk as if our feelings are our identity, as if they are carved in stone. But Buddhist wisdom starts with a gentle correction. You are not your emotions. You are the space in which they appear. In Buddhism, there's a word, impermanence. It means nothing stays the same. No feeling, no thought, no mood, no belief. Today's burning anger is tomorrow's distant memory. Today's heartbreak is next year's story of how I grew. Even the joy you cling to slips through your fingers. At first, this sounds sad. Why does everything have to change? But look closer. If everything changes, then no emotion is a life sentence. No pain is permanent. No story about you is final. That heavy sadness you carry, it too is moving. It's already different from yesterday. It will be different tomorrow. When you understand impermanence not just as a word, but as something you can feel, you stop fighting your emotions like enemies. You start watching them like waves. They rise, they peak, they fall. And you are the ocean. How do you learn to live like that? Not just understand it in theory, but feel it in the middle of your worst day. This is where mindfulness enters. Mindfulness is not a fancy trick. It's not about emptying your mind or becoming a statue. It's simply this: being fully here, with what is, without running, without clinging, without judging. Right now, can you feel your breath entering your nose? Feel it leave. That simple noticing is mindfulness. Now imagine doing that not just with your breathing, but with your emotions. Anger appears. Instead of exploding or swallowing it, you notice heat in the chest, tight jaw, fast thoughts. Fear appears. You feel cold hands, knot in the stomach, thoughts of what if, what if, what if. You are not drowning in the emotion. You are observing it. Like watching a cloud move across the sky, like watching rain hit the window. You might still feel uncomfortable, but something subtle has shifted. Before you were inside the emotion. Now the emotion is inside your awareness. That small shift is the beginning of freedom. But you might be thinking, how do I actually do this when life is chaos? When my child is screaming, when my partner is yelling, when my anxiety suddenly spikes at 2 a.m. You don't need a monastery. You don't need an hour on a cushion. You only need tiny moments of returning. You feel irritation rising in a conversation. Instead of immediately firing back, you practice one small move. Pause. Inhale slowly. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice the emotion. Name it gently. Irritation is here. Just that. You've broken the automatic chain. You've created one breath of space between trigger and reaction. That one breath can save a relationship. That one breath can save you from saying words you can't take back. Emotional mastery is built in these small, hidden choices, not in dramatic spiritual experiences, but in 1,000 tiny pauses, 1,000 gentle returns to the present moment. And every time you return, you're training your mind, teaching it a new pattern. Feel, notice, respond. Don't just react. As you keep practicing, something deeper begins to grow inside you, a quiet strength. Buddhism calls it equanimity. Equanimity is not coldness. It's not apathy. It's not, I don't care. It is the ability to stay steady in the middle of the storm, to feel deeply without being swept away. Imagine standing on the shore watching the waves crash. The water may roar, the foam may spray, but your feet are planted. You feel the ground under you. That groundedness is equanimity. Life will still bring you arguments, losses, disappointments. Equanimity doesn't stop that. It just stops every wave from becoming a disaster. How do I build that slowly? Through simple meditation. You sit. You choose one anchor. Your breath, the feeling of your hands resting, the sound around you. Thoughts appear, emotions appear. You don't fight them. You don't chase them. You notice them. You let them pass. You come back to the anchor, over and over, gently, patiently.